There we go.
Welcome. Had some technical difficulties, and I'm kind of annoyed about it. This is AJ coming at you. Mike is currently doing stats work because he is a what's the best word for that?
Nerd.
Dork. Anywho, we're here for another mini beef slider coming at you. This is
Number 3.
Number 3. Nebraska falls to Colorado in a heartbreaker, I guess.
Yeah,
Nail biter?
just because it's Colorado.
And I would say a nail biter, better
Yeah.
description. Colorado's defensive player that twisted Adrian Martinez's leg is a dirty little bitch.
Yep.
The play was submitted to the Pac-12 and Big Ten for review. I will say this though, I did like what I saw.
I did too.
For the most part.
From both sides of the ball. The offensive line looked really good compared to last year.
Oh, night and day difference.
The running backs looked really good. Greg Bell doesn't have the breakaway speed that we thought he did, but he did run for over 100 yards.
Yep.
So he's not a bad running back.
He's a solid back.
Yeah, he's gonna get you where you need to go.
Maurice Washington is
Yes.
incredibly talented back.
Yeah. There were a couple times where, if he got a couple more blocks, he's probably going to the end zone.
Yep.
But that's the game of football. Sometimes you miss blocks. Sometimes you can get enough of a crease that a little guy like Mo Washington can get through there.
Which
And then, of course, the big story was Adrian Martinez, who looked lights out against Colorado, except for that fumble.
and that one pick that he threw square to the chest of the linebacker.
Yeah, but I think that was mostly the linebacker. The
No.
linebacker.
No, that was a terrible read. The linebacker, if you watch that replay, that linebacker didn't move. It was just a bad read. It happens with a young quarterback.
And that's freshman mistakes. I think, here's my prediction for Adrian Martinez. I think by the end of the year or by the middle of next year, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Because he corrects the freshman mistakes by at least the middle of next year.
Or he gets figured out and then is a one-hit wonder. The Taylor Martinez treatment.
Yeah.
Which, either one's possible, only time will tell.
Yeah, I don't think there's an in-between here.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I will say this, the defense, I have never seen pressure like that from Nebraska defense in a long time.
Even just when they sent 4.
Yeah. But the blitz packages were fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Those blitz schemes that Shenander has, genius. Fucking genius.
And it is Shenander. That's how it's pronounced on the TV.
On the telly.
On the telly.
On the telly. Yeah, no. Those blitz packages were awesome.
Yep.
Other news from around college football, everyone played as expected.
Yep.
No real upsets. Florida State almost lost to Samford.
Yep. Well, the only upset really was Arizona State beating Michigan State.
But
we kind of called that.
Rutgers did not score a touchdown.
No, they kicked a field goal. Pitt and Penn State were close for like a quarter.
Well, that game, the game
ended
was so
in
like,
51-6.
It was a sloppy game, just raining, and so it was an ugly game.
Kentucky upset Florida.
Oh, for
the first time in 31 years.
The biggest news in college football: Kansas won a football game.
The first road win for Kansas since like October of 2009 or something like that.
And their first win since like 2015.
Yeah, Kansas is the Cleveland Browns of Division I football.
We'll get to the Cleveland Browns in a second.
Of Power 5 football.
We'll get to the Cleveland Browns in a second with their streak.
But this week, Nebraska plays Troy University.
There's one more game from last week. The Clemson-Texas A&M game, which ended up being a really great game. Texas A&M gave them a run for their money.
Yep.
I think...
I liked what I saw from Kellen Mond, the quarterback from Texas A&M.
Agreed.
He looked really good.
He's got a lot of arm talent.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also a pretty good decision maker.
I can't remember where he was originally. I don't think he was originally at Texas A&M.
Couldn't tell you.
But Kyler Murray actually looks good for Oklahoma.
Oh my god, that dude looks super talented. Too bad he's going to the MLB.
I know. Just as soon as this year's done, he's going to the MLB. But he, like in that first game against Florida Atlantic, he threw like a 50-yard bomb into the wind.
Yeah, the dude's got
and it didn't look like it was it was windy.
No, he got it was an unbelievable pass.
Yeah. Lincoln Riley has said that he's more of an explosive player than Baker Mayfield is.
No, I agree 100%.
Just because Kyler Murray has the better running ability. They're both pretty equal passers, but Kyler Murray's
more
dual threat ability is. I think they're in the playoff again this year, and I think I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think they're the 1 seed.
You think Oklahoma finishes your number 1?
Mm-hmm.
I disagree. I think they'll make the playoff. I think they'll be the 3 or 4.
Okay. Because obviously, right now you have
it'll be Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma.
Which Oklahoma's number 5 right now. So
Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, and maybe Ohio State.
Yeah, I could see that. Or
because a team like Wisconsin's not getting in unless they go undefeated and win the Big Ten,
which they would have to get past Ohio State.
Yeah. I mean, I could honestly see this year be the year ACC gets left out, and a team like Washington lost.
Yeah.
A team like Oregon or Stanford maybe sneak
a team
in.
like maybe Notre Dame.
Maybe if they keep winning,
if they keep rolling like they have, maybe Notre Dame.
They barely got past Ball State though.
Yeah.
And that could be an overlooked game because you just got off emotional high of beating Michigan. And
yeah. Then you have, of course, 3 like almost top 5 teams in the SEC with Georgia, Alabama, and Auburn.
Yeah.
And then you have LSU on the outside looking in at 12.
LSU looks like a good team though.
Yeah. I know they lost, but oh wait, we're talking about if the ACC doesn't get in.
Yeah.
I think Notre Dame's probably the only other team that I can see, because I don't think West Virginia's at the college football playoff team yet.
I will say Will Grier
is very good.
He's the best quarterback in college football.
That's what I said.
I agree.
Yeah. I think I predicted that in the first slider.
Maybe.
Is that I that was my hot take of the slider, was that Will Grier is the best quarterback in football or in college football.
I think I will say this.
Who really impressed me actually this week was Steven Montez from Colorado.
I agree. He's got all the pro potential in the world.
I think I'm going to predict this. I think Colorado's a 9-win team this year.
I think that's a fair thing.
A 9 or 10-win team this year.
I think they challenge for the
Pac-12.
The Pac-12 North.
I think they challenge for the Pac-12.
It's possible.
If they can get past Stanford
and Oregon.
And Oregon, yeah. Which actually they would face either one in the championship game, because
is Colorado in the Pac-12 South?
Yes, with Arizona State.
Right.
And USC.
Well, another team that looks like absolute trash, Arizona. Kevin Sumlin, that team looks like shit.
Yes. I don't know what happened to
that quarterback.
Yeah.
Whose name escapes me.
Khalil Tate. Yep. I don't know what happened to him.
He's shit.
Because he looked really good last year. He looked like a Heisman contender last year.
People were saying he was a Heisman contender this year.
Yeah, and he was like the favorite behind Bryce Love. Which I don't know how Bryce Love did last week. He did really bad against San Diego State.
All I know is Jonathan Taylor may win this shit.
Yeah.
It's going to be him or Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
Also,
which Tua Tagovailoa isn't as hard to pronounce as you think. It's pronounced exactly how it's spelled.
It looks exactly how it sounds, and the problem is that like the first time you see it, you're like, fuck that.
Yeah, you just don't even want to, and then you hear somebody pronounce it, it's like,
oh,
that's super easy.
I will say this: I am really fucking tired of people making NFL comparisons to young players.
To like freshmen
Tua Tagovailoa has been compared to guys like Brett Favre.
or like Michael Vick, like a more accurate Michael Vick.
Like, are you serious? You're gonna put that kind of
Pressure
weight
on a sophomore?
on a true sophomore? That's fucking stupid.
Right. To be fair, he did beat out the quarterback that took Alabama to 2 national championship games.
But Jalen Hurts didn't carry those teams.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Jalen Hurts didn't elevate those teams.
No,
He didn't.
He
fuck
was
up.
he was very good for those teams.
He was like Alex Smith.
Yeah.
He's not going to lose
He
you the
was-
game, but he's also not going to win you the game.
He was check down Charlie, but he was not afraid to throw the deep ball to Calvin Ridley.
Well, when you have an All-American wide receiver, you usually throw him the rock.
Yeah. Just 'cause that's how Alabama's always been. You know, they had Julio Jones, and then the next year
Amari Cooper.
after he graduates, they have Amari Cooper, and then after Amari Cooper graduates, they have Calvin Ridley.
Yep.
It's like, who's next? Essentially,
Yep.
who's ready to step up to the plate and be the next Mark Ingram or
Trent Richardson or Derrick Henry.
yeah, or
T.Y. Yeldon.
yeah, T.J. Yeldon.
T.J. Yeldon, sorry. I don't know why I said
T.J.
T.Y.
Yeldon, Glenn Coffey.
The list goes on.
Yeah, just the Sean Alexander, just the list of great Alabama running backs. We could fill a whole episode just
Yep.
listing great Alabama players since like 2009.
Yep.
Essentially, that whole 2009 team was in the NFL right now, except for the quarterback
Who was our quarterback?
Greg McElroy.
Isn't he still in the NFL?
Hmm.
The backup somewhere?
No, he's a commentator somewhere.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And like Rolando McClain.
To be fair, no Alabama quarterback has really panned out in the NFL.
No, that's true.
AJ
Now,
McCarron?
Now, we have yet to see what he can do because he's
Right.
always been kind of a backup.
Yeah.
I'm
Where is
curious.
AJ McCarron?
Oakland. He's the backup in Oakland.
Yeah, when Derek Carr gets hurt in the start.
But he,
Like I said, when, not if.
yeah, he.
Sorry,
Now,
Mario does not long for
your
this
your
world.
prediction on where Jalen Hurts goes, because they have an agreement in place that if Tua Tagovailoa
gets hurt.
doesn't get hurt in the first 4 games because of the new redshirt rule.
Yep.
If he doesn't get hurt in those first 4 games, he's going to redshirt and then transfer next year. He's going to graduate in December and transfer.
Right.
Where does he go?
How many years does Shea Patterson have left at Michigan?
2. 2 or 3. I don't think he goes to Michigan. I think he goes.
That's tough.
Yeah, because there's so many places he could go.
I say he goes to a place like Texas A&M.
Really,
Or, yeah.
I think he goes to Florida State.
Ooh. That's not a bad pick. But DeAndre Francois still
I
there.
think he beats out DeAndre Francois in a heartbeat.
Possible.
I think he's a better quarterback than DeAndre Francois.
I could see him going to a place like UCLA with Chip
Yeah.
Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say UCLA.
Okay. I could also see him going to like USC.
They're not really big on dual threat
Well,
quarterbacks.
he's more of a passer anyway.
Yeah, but they're more big on white quarterbacks.
That's true.
It's not being racist. I
No,
know,
it's just
fact.
Yeah,
Look it up.
yeah. Look at all
Mark
the-
Sanchez was the last non-white quarterback they had.
Yeah, and he was pretty white.
Yeah.
Like, I just
And that's,
Jalen Hurts is a mystery right now because you don't know what he's going to do
and you don't know what
because he might not transfer. I don't know. You know,
he may just go straight into the draft. You
Yeah.
never know.
because he could probably be a 2nd or 3rd round quarterback right now.
I would say 4th or 5th, but he's still getting drafted.
You know, that's the thing. We don't know what his draft stock is right now.
True.
I think Will Greer's probably a first-round quarterback.
Yeah.
The way he's looking right now.
I will say
Of
this.
course, it's 2 weeks into the season.
I'll tell you this right now. Kelly Bryant's going to declare for the draft at the end of this year. Quarterback for Clemson.
The way that Trevor Lawrence is playing.
Yeah, Trevor
Hell
Lawrence is
yeah.
pushing him hard. And Kelly Bryant's a hell of a quarterback.
Yeah. I think Trevor Lawrence is a starter by the end of the year.
It's possible. They keep using both. And
I think Dabo's trying to see who makes a mistake first.
well, here's the thing is, Kelly Bryant has earned his starting job,
And he has to lose it.
but at the end of the day, talent wins out.
Mhm.
Talent wins out every time.
And Trevor Lawrence could probably start in the NFL right now.
Yeah, the dude's fucking insane.
Like, he could start and probably go 10-6.
yeah, I wouldn't say 10-6. I would say he goes at, I would say,
On the right
8-8.
on the right team, he goes 10-6.
yeah. I mean,
On a team like,
you give him the Falcons, 10-6.
if you give him the Falcons,
You're talking
12-4.
Yeah, the dude's solid, and he's only.
If you
like
give him like
19.
the Bengals,
yeah,
Yeah.
give him like the Ravens.
a team that needs a new quarterback. Well, I didn't say the Ravens because the Ravens have Lamar Jackson. You know, we don't know what Lamar Jackson's gonna do.
Well, he's the backup because RG3 was inactive for that last game.
Yeah, which I don't know what that's about, but
Probably hurt his knee again.
probably, which is just super unfortunate.
That dude is a fucking beast of an athlete.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch gears to the NFL then.
Okay.
We'll come back to Troy at the end.
James Conner looked really good, but that's not surprising.
But
because-
the bigger story for that game, the Cleveland Browns have ended their losing streak by
But
not
they didn't
winning.
win. The Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers tied this last week with a 21-21 score.
Yeah, because field goal kickers apparently don't know how to kick field goals anymore.
Yeah. I would say the biggest surprise to me was
The Buccaneers beating
Yeah.
the Saints?
by how much they beat the Saints.
Yeah, you hung 42?
Yeah. They 48. It's 48-40. But I guess more specifically, Ryan Fitzpatrick was the surprise.
Well, Ryan Fitzpatrick guarantees you at least one of those bullshit games a year.
Yeah. Unfortunately for the Buccaneers, it was in the first game
Yeah, they go...
because the Saints defense is famous. They are a very good defense, but they're famous for mailing in the first 2 weeks.
I'll say this. The Buccaneers win 2 games the rest of the season.
I think so. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick starts the rest of the season and they win 4 games all year.
No, I'll raise it. I'll say they win 6.
6 games. They go
6
6 and
and
10. I think the Bears,
It's a Fitzpatrick level. I think the Bears push for the NFC North.
but I think they still
9-7.
Yeah, I don't. Did you hear the Rams were pushing hard for Khalil Mack?
Dear God. They
That-
wouldn't have been able to pay him.
No, but the only reason they didn't trade him to the Rams was because they thought the Rams pick would be too low. They're like, the Bears suck. We'll trade him to him. We'll get a couple top 10 picks out of it.
Yeah, because the Rams would have been in the 30s probably, or the
Been
late
in the
20s.
Super Bowl
Yeah, in the late
with
20s.
Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh and Khalil Mack on the defensive line.
Yeah, Todd Gurley on the offense.
Brandon Cooks as the deep threat.
Yeah, Jesus.
Can you imagine if Sammy Watkins had panned out
Hey, he could still pan out.
like DeAndre Hopkins has?
Well,
Because you would think that because no one thought that DeAndre Hopkins would be where Sammy Watkins would be.
everyone thought
everyone's
Sammy Watkins was going to be the
yeah,
next great receiver.
just because
injuries and not be fitting a system. But I think now that he's got Mahomes, I think he breaks out. I think he finally breaks out.
Yeah. I think the Chiefs finally have a quarterback, dude. For the first time since
Ever?
Joe Montana.
Hey,
Maybe Trent Green. Like,
hey, they had Tim Couch for a year, didn't they?
they had like Damon Heward,
Chase Daniel?
Matt Castle.
Hey, you shut your mouth.
Some of the interesting games for next week are the Vikings and the Packers
Ooh, that'll be good.
in Green Bay.
I will say this: Aaron Rodgers may be the greatest quarterback in the NFL.
Drew Brees is about to go off because they play the Browns.
He passes for 498 yards, almost 500, but not quite.
You have the Jaguars and the Patriots, a rematch of the AFC Championship game.
I think the Jags win that game.
I do too. And then you have...
Nothing good.
No, not really.
Who are the Titans playing?
Titans are playing the Texans.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, well, Deshaun Watson looked like shit last week, so...
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's just one game.
I mean, they were playing the Patriots.
Yeah.
But the Patriots...
Whose defense isn't solid, but it's not bad either.
They're consistent. They're
Yeah.
consistently average.
Yeah. Which is good enough to slow down a quarterback.
Yeah.
Because you also got to think what we're comparing Deshaun Watson to. Last year's Deshaun Watson, before he tore his ACL?
Yes.
The guy that was in the MVP conversation after 2 games?
Yeah. That's what we're comparing
Like,
to.
holy crap.
But they were saying all after the preseason that he looked like the guy before the ACL tear.
And he still might. We'll have to see.
Yeah,
Because it's one game. I hope he looks like that.
right.
I hope Carson Wentz looks like he did before the ACL tear. I really do, because Carson Wentz is a talented quarterback.
I do.
And if it's anything like RG3, it's gonna be sad.
I will say this though. Can we officially get rid of Matt Ryan's nickname of being Matty Ice?
Yeah,
He's more like Matty Ice the kicker. or Matty Lukewarm.
yeah. Matty Ice when he wants to be.
He no longer is Matty Ice because
He was Matty Ice 2 years ago.
up until the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He was Matty Ice up until that one Super Bowl, and since then he's lost his mojo. He's just
one
Austin
of
Powers.
20 in the red zone with Julio Jones.
That's unacceptable.
Yeah, you should be 20 of 20 with
Yeah.
Julio Jones. Like, the dude can go up and get anything. Well, almost anything.
And you have other weapons too. you
Yeah.
know?
It's like, what are
Stop.
you doing that...
Stop overthinking your fucking throws. Like,
Yeah.
just make the
Put it.
throw.
You can make the throw. You've proven that you can make the throw.
Yeah, you gotta
Just
fucking
do it.
run. Just relax.
Yeah. I think he's putting too much pressure on himself.
I think he is too.
He's putting too much pressure on himself to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you had one MVP season and then
Yeah.
you
It's
shit
just
your
like-
pants.
Yeah.
The,
Can you imagine if Peyton Manning had done that?
we aren't
Or-
talking about him right now.
Right. Or Tom Brady had done that? Or if Drew Bledsoe beats out Tom Brady for the starting spot?
Or Drew Bledsoe never gets hurt.
Yeah. Tom Brady's probably not in New England. Like,
They'll get
because I guarantee they didn't draft him as a franchise quarterback.
Can we finally agree that Jimmy Garoppolo is really not that good?
Yeah.
Thank God. I get he was playing the fucking Vikings, but
Yeah.
some of those
Yeah,
throws were
that's hard. That's hard to
trash.
that's hard to make a good comparison because the Vikings defense is fantastic.
Fantasy team starter.
I think they need a pass rusher is what they need.
The Niners.
No, the Vikings.
I mean, Shea, Pat.
Well, like like a true
Shane Peterson?
something like that. I don't know.
Williams? Is that name Williams or Peterson?
I don't know.
He's a D tackle. He's number 93. He's a fucking boss.
Yeah.
All I know is he planted Garoppolo on his ass, and he got a penalty for it because
Yeah.
the new tackle rules, you can't land directly on a quarterback because their little bodies are so squishy. Bunch of fucking babies.
Yeah.
That shit pisses me off. It's like everyone wants to see 70 points a game, but no one wants to see 70 points a game. Be like, oh, well, the integrity of the game is gone. Well, you wanted the defenses to not be out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it might as well just be offense only practice.
It's basically a skeleton drill at this point. Why have lines?
Yeah.
Just who can throw an incompletion first.
Right. Who can throw an interception first?
Yeah.
Or, it's just, I don't know.
It's stupid shit. Those people are not true NFL fans.
Yeah.
And they're not true football fans. Because guess what? When you see a big sack, when you see a fucking tackle for a loss...
You kind of wince a little bit as a true football fan. Because you
As
know
a-
what that feels like.
As a true football fan, you get fucking fired up about it, though.
Yeah.
That shit's momentum. You get a big pass breakup. That's huge. You get a big kick return, punt return. You get a big block on a fucking kick or punt return.
Yeah.
You know?
That Kenny Bell block in the...
Which is
in
super illegal now.
Yeah. But that fired everybody up.
You know, that gets people going, you know? And that momentum shit, I think football needs to just admit that it's fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
And...
But people... Alex Smith and Josh Norman were doing like an interview thing for Fox, and they were talking, and they both said, "We know what we signed up for. We know it's dangerous, but we still go out there. We still strap on the helmet, and we go play
Yeah,
because we know what we signed up for.
And
we know it's a dangerous game. We know we can get hurt.
And that's the thing is like the UFC. You know what you're getting into.
Yeah,
You're gonna get hit in the face.
Well, with any sport that you've watched on TV before you do it, you know what you're getting into.
And yeah, but with football, they always claim this ignorance of like, we're trying to make the game safer for everyone.
It's not going to be safer.
It
can't be just because
you can't protect people from freak accidents.
The game's going a million miles an hour.
You are more likely to get hurt in a fucking car accident than you are to get hurt on a football field.
Yeah,
and that's just a fact.
Mm-hmm. So, but I get wanting to try to make the game safer, but it's almost impossible.
It really
because
is.
of the nature of the game. You would have to change the game of football completely to make it safer.
Even then, you still the most gruesome injuries I've ever seen. Basketball.
Yeah.
Gordon Hayward breaking his ankle. Kevin
Ware
with his fucking legs sticking out of his skin.
Mm-hmm. Paul George
is fucking breaking his leg.
Yeah, it's just
those are the worst things I've ever seen.
Yeah, those are freak accidents.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Like, you saw fucking Anderson Silva break his fucking leg kicking somebody in the fucking leg. Like,
right. That's horrifying
it's
to watch.
Appalling, yes.
But that happens just because you kick wrong, or the guy lifts his leg up when you go to kick and you hit his leg in the hard spot.
I get it's not much, like with basketball there's not as much head contact, but you know what you're signing up for, and it's just part of the liability of the game, and stop trying to take
people need to understand that.
They need to stop trying to take the fun out of it.
Yeah.
And I was talking to somebody about this today actually, and they're like, well, the people that want to see all those rules in place are probably the ones that believe in participation trophies, and that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Participation trophies and making everything quote-unquote safer is the reason why everyone's basically a bitch now by, time standards.
Yeah.
Based on how...
Compared to guys like...
your grandparents.
Yeah.
For example.
Well, as far as like football players are concerned, compared to guys like Ray Lewis, or like Ray Lewis when he was at Miami.
Yeah.
Or Dick Butkus.
Yeah.
Guys that you can watch
Mike
videos
Ditka.
of knocking somebody's helmet off with their helmet, that guy getting back up, grabbing his helmet, and going back to the huddle.
Yeah.
Like, those are some badass dudes. Like,
They didn't have all those side pads.
Right.
They were exposed skin with a very thin mesh jersey.
Yeah, my dad can tell you a couple stories about when he played semi-pro football, of earholing a dude, watching the dude hobble up and go back to the huddle, the opposite huddle, just because back then you didn't go out,
Nope.
or you went out, they checked you, you're good, you went back out. You know, those guys played with concussions. That's not good. You know, we know now that's not good for you.
Yeah, and
Because you can die.
Yeah, and concussions aren't anything to say that that's not a real thing.
No, that's not what we're trying to say at all.
What we're trying to say is injuries happen, and creating a bunch of bullshit penalties to prevent them from happening is ignorant at best. It doesn't make any sense for you to ruin a game just because you're accounting for the anomaly plays.
Yeah.
If you live
Because you can't account for those.
If you live in the standard deviations, so if you live on the outsides, your 2% worth of data on either side, then you're not living in reality. You're living in fucking la la land.
That's why I'm excited for what the XFL in 2020 is going to bring. Because I don't know what they're because you don't know. I don't know what they're going to bring.
Yeah, it could be a more pure brand of football.
Yeah, which if you believe Vince McMahon and what he's been saying about the XFL, it will be.
It's going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, it'll be.
It's just banking on whether he can get the players.
Yeah. And I've said this before, but I think it should just be like they should try and team with the NFL and just make it a developmental league. Because the NBA has the G League, the NHL has a developmental league.
It's a AA system.
Yeah,
just like baseball.
Just like baseball. Every other league but football has these developmental leagues that if the players aren't ready, you're not throwing them to the wolves on the 53-man roster or cutting them, and they're not making money.
Or putting them on a 12-man practice squad.
Right. Those practice squad players, you could put them on that practice squad players, but that practice squad are starters on those D-League teams. Because they're just the better players.
And they're still under contract.
Yeah.
By your team.
Yeah, you have 32 teams for each team gets a developmental.
Even if you do half that, if you do 16 teams.
Yeah.
Teams split their developmental based on regions.
Yeah.
You have you have 2 teams in Texas because there's 4 NFL teams in Texas.
Right.
You have a couple in California. You have one that splits the difference between, Denver and
Kansas City.
You're Kansas City, sure. Or, you have Chicago and Green Bay, as hilarious as that sounds.
Yeah.
Chicago or Detroit and, shit like that. It's pretty easy. We could break it down, and it's feasible, but who knows if that's actually going to happen.
It probably won't,
Right.
because let's face it, Vince McMahon's an egomaniac, and
What makes you say that?
you watched stuff he did for me before. You've watched it.
Yeah.
You know what Vince McMahon's like.
Yeah. We'll talk about it on that.
Yeah, we're gonna have a wrestling episode
podcast
here eventually. Yeah, I might start a wrestling section for the podcast. I don't know. Maybe go over some.
We simultaneously said eventually, and you just brushed by it like it was nothing.
We do that all the time. It's not anything new.
Alright, let's preview the Troy game and
Yeah.
let's get the fuck out of here. 'Cause some of us have alcohol to intoxicate themselves with. Not me. Stay away from the devil's liquor.
Yeah, class.
Yeah. Fuck. Well,
So Nebraska is currently an 11.5 point favorite.
I think they win. I think it's ugly. I think they win by like 15.
Yeah. I think they try and get revenge for Colorado. I think the defense is angry. They're they handed out the black shirts actually. They handed out 7 of them. All 4 linebackers. Mick Stoltenberg.
Please tell me Ben Stilley got one.
Yes, Ben Stilley got one. One of the Davis twins got one. Wait, no. DiCaprio Boodle got one actually.
Why the fuck did that piece of shit go? I'm sorry. I
You gotta understand the coaches are seeing something different than we are.
yeah.
They're obviously seeing something that tells them that he deserves a black shirt more than Lamar Jackson does.
Well, Lamar Jackson didn't, you fucking dick.
Yeah, because, but from what I saw from DiCaprio Boodle, he's a lot better than last year.
Yeah, but he still gave up the big plays.
That's gonna happen. That's football.
That LaVista
Yeah,
should whatever the fuck his name was.
Laviska Shenault.
Chenault. Yeah, that dude.
That's a good player though. You can't
Yeah.
really.
But DiCaprio Boodle's a 4-star cornerback.
Yeah. Stars don't matter. Stars don't matter once you get to D1. As soon as you commit, those stars don't mean shit.
I know.
You know that.
It just pisses me off because I've seen it time and time again of him getting burnt, and I'm just tired of seeing it.
Yeah, but what are we seeing that in? Our Mark Banker defense.
You can't remember his name, can you?
Diaco defense. There we go. You know, give it time.
I'll give him 2 more weeks,
You know,
and then after the Michigan game, I'll decide whether or not I think I want to shoot him in the fucking skull.
right? But I think these coaches are going to be more apt to sub players than the old staff was. They're not going to just ride a dead horse. You know, they're not going to leave a quarterback out there that's going to get burnt.
I will say
Because
this
this defense, but what I did like what I saw from the defense was there was only 2 big plays,
Right.
Like 2 real breakdowns in the defense,
Yep.
and that was Laviska Shenault going deep.
Well,
That
second
was
one,
very good coverage.
That second one, his touchdown, that was a perfect pass.
Yeah,
You can't defend that pass.
yeah, and
There's nothing you can do about that. So you can't be mad at Boodle
dude,
for
like
that
a
one.
minute later, a minute
can't-
ago, you were bashing DiCaprio Boodle for that.
No, I was bashing him for all the other fucking times that he was getting beat by Chenault. Like
I'm saying that's a good receiver though.
he is a good receiver, but that doesn't mean he's not going to face other good receivers this year.
Yeah.
You still play Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. I don't know who they have.
Everyone.
I mean, it's.
I
I understand.
I will say this. I was extremely impressed with a player that I had never heard of before. Ferguson.
Tyron Ferguson, yes.
That dude is a monster.
Yeah.
That dude can. That dude was
the outside
every
linebacker
tackle.
opposite of
Giff.
Muhammad Berry. No, yeah, Gifford. Because Muhammad Berry really impressed me too.
Yeah, Mo Berry.
He was everywhere.
Dedrick Young left a little to be desired.
Yeah, he's still gonna be consistent how he always is. He's gonna be the first linebacker to start all 4 years and have at least 60 tackles. Just because that's the linebacker he is. He's
Yeah.
consistent.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if he can stay healthy, he's consistent. Mo Berry's probably a 100 tackle guy.
I would say.
I
I say the one thing that I want to see better is contain
yes,
and
especially once we get to Ohio State with Dwayne Haskins and
everyone else.
well, that's really the only good dual threat quarterback we play this year. You know what I mean?
Well, that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
What does Minnesota have? What does
Yeah. Well, their
Northwestern.
quarterback from last year transferred. Minnesota's did.
True. What about Northwestern?
Clayton Thorson, yeah.
We play Penn State this year. Trace
No,
McSorley-
we don't.
We don't play Penn State this
Nope.
year.
No. I don't know if Michigan State's quarterback is a dual threat.
No, he plays for Michigan State.
Yeah, I can.
How mobile is Connor Cook?
That's true.
Take it back. Kirk Cousins.
That's true.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all the time. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, predictions.
Nebraska, I say 34-17.
One more thing. I think Adrian Martinez is currently day-to-day. They said there's no ligament damage whatsoever,
Good.
which is a very good thing after watching the play.
I texted Mike as soon as it happened, and I said, that's an ACL.
Yeah. Which the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, that might be an ACL. Shit. And then I think you start Andrew Bunch this week. You save Adrian Martinez unless there's absolutely no soreness.
True.
Like unless when he's making like cuts or like that cut he made on that 41-yard touchdown run. If he can make that no problem, he's fine.
Put that dude on the skates.
Right. It's just, if he can make that cut no problem, he's fine. Play him. If he winces a little bit when he does, start Andrew Bunch, save Adrian Martinez for Michigan.
I'll say this: if Andrew Bunch is feeling like 95%, put him in, get a 2-touchdown lead, take him out.
Yeah. Put in. I don't even know who the third guy is. I know they have a third guy. I can't remember his name. He was number 11 on the sidelines.
Something. Is his last name? I think his first name is Nick, isn't it?
Nick something. Yeah. I don't know what it is.
Who cares?
You've got Ed McCaffrey's kid coming in next year to be the backup probably.
Well, it depends on what happens with Noah Vedral.
Yeah. Noah Vedral will probably be the backup.
And then that
'Cause
McCaffrey kid can redshirt.
Yeah.
Martinez goes to the NFL.
Maybe.
Depends on how next season goes.
Yeah.
I
I don't know. I don't either.
We are
Anyway.
way the fuck over time.
Yeah, we are.
God, fuck, we talk too much.
Okay, my prediction for Troy is 42-17.
I said 34, but I'm feeling like we're going to score more touchdowns than that.
Right.
We
Well,
left, like-
just because
We left 3 touchdowns on the board, and we only scored, what, 28?
yeah, just because of what they said. They said about talking about Barrett Pickering. They're like, we like touchdowns.
Well,
We prefer touchdowns.
Probably because you can't kick a field goal.
Yeah, that's not super encouraging.
I'm going to say, what was your number?
42.
Let's say 41-20.
Okay.
41-20.
Pickering finally gets a kick.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's him getting 2 field goals.
Yeah, I think he's all right. I think he's a good kicker.
I think he hits a 42-yarder and feels good about himself.
Yeah,
going into
I think he needs that confidence boost to hitting one.
Yeah.
You know, I think they're going to give him a couple easy ones.
Yeah, I think when you go for it on 4th and like 3 from the 30-yard line, kind of takes away your confidence in your kicker a little bit.
Yeah, but I can get it's a close game. You want to score a touchdown. You're running all over Colorado's defense. That makes sense.
I will say this: Nebraska's defense on 3rd down was super good.
Yeah.
Colorado was like 0 for 6 on their first 6 attempts at 3rd downs, so that's a good sign.
But 2 for 2 on their 4th down defense is something to be desired.
True, you did put Chenault in the backfield, just wildcatted that motherfucker.
It's
a smart move.
It is.
All right, we're gonna get the fuck
All right.
out of here. Don't be a bitch, and GBR.
GBR.